the trailer for The Rise of Skywalker has finally dropped. Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. So today I'm going to be fully breaking down the new trailer that just came out yesterday, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the trailer from scene by scene, just literally everything, as well as I'm going to include a lot of Easter eggs and theories. So let's get into it. Okay, and so in the beginning, we get like the first part of the trailer. We basically get Rey, and she's running through this jungly type of thing. And right when before she comes like into frame, or I think it's like right when she comes into frame, she drops a helmet, which is the Resistance helmet. I think here it kind of is a little Easter egg bringing back to the first film of the sequel, The Force Awakens, where at that part on Jakku, Rey is putting on her helmet, she is looking out, and it's a Resistance helmet, it's the old one, it's the Rebellion's helmet. So basically, I think that is supposed to relate back to the beginning, kind of showing, look how far that she has come. And this whole forest scene of her training and jumping and stuff. Now, I have a prediction of where this is. I personally think it's Takodana, because just the way that the forest looks, and it kind of gives me the feel of Takodana, the way the light is like hitting it and reflecting. That's kind of what I think that forest scene is. So who knows. Then we also get a start of Finn's voice in this too. Basically, it's him talking about the force and kind of how his perspective of the force is, and how he was talking about how it brought them together. And I kind of really like that. This is also, again, character growth. I mean, we saw Finn pick up the lightsaber and know nothing about the Force. Nothing at all. And even that part where he says to Han in Force Awakens, like, is that even real, or something like that. And this is kind of showing that now he believes it. Kind of like how Han didn't believe in the beginning, then he started believing it. It's the same way with Finn. So I kind of like this part where he's like, the Force brought us together. And then when the scenes change to Rey jumping onto what looks like, I think, is the Death Star, of her kind of going through it, it's also, again, hinting toward her days of scavenging, her days of, practicing this, jumping around ships and stuff. Of her already being able to do this, kind of bringing her scavenging past kind of to her present. And at this part, we see her look up, and she looks pretty beat down. So of course she's probably been doing this for a long time. Who knows what has happened? She looks very winded. So I don't know. I think she might have been in the battle, after the battle of Rey and Kylo, when they kind of are going into the ship. I think that later on, when we get to that part, they show these scenes, and I think they all line up with one another. But going back to the beginning of Takodana, I think that's going to be kind of like our beginning scene. Remember in Force Awakens, there's like this, or in any Star Wars movie, there's like this period of time of fighting and kind of the tense part, and then you get into the really good stuff. In Last Jedi, it was basically Poe and the bombers all fighting against the Dreadnought, and then in Force Awakens, it was Kylo and Poe. I think here we're going to get something in the beginning to kind of hint what is going to be happening in the battle, and then this scene where Rey is running through the Force. I think that is going to be the scene right after, showing kind of how she's changed and how she's training a lot and all. And so then that's what I think that kind of scene is. And then we kind of get this picture of Finn. He's kind of looking something on Piscana. I can definitely tell it's Piscana, but I don't know what it is. We get a look at the forest, and I think, again, that is Takodana, somewhere on Takodana, away from Maz's castle, since no one lives on there really, on that planet. And then we kind of get this shot of the Resistance, of what they can gather. Now, I think personally that in this movie, they're really going to be trying to get more people on the side of the Resistance. I mean, it's all leading up to the final battle, and this play that they're showing shows that there's not a lot of rebel soldiers there to fight. So I think that throughout this movie, they're gonna need more people to fight. And in this little thing, you kind of see is Lando there talking, and then after Finn kind of talks, you get Lando talking. I think this is him again talking about the final battle, talking about preparing for it. I think this is not on Takodana. I think this is on that ice planet that we will see soon. I think this is kind of his motivational speech before, to kind of tell everybody, like, this is what's gonna happen. And I also noticed how Leia's not in this. I think that Leia, The Rise of Skywalker, is definitely not gonna be in it. She either dies right in the beginning, or she kind of retires and she kind of is like, I can't do this anymore on my emotional being. As we saw in The Last Jedi, she was pretty torn apart from Han's death and everything, as we were seeing. So I either think she kind of is like, I'm going away, I'm gonna live my life, you guys need to fight this fight, it's your fight now. And Lando comes in and kind of takes over the role of Leia. And the part where Lando, I think it's Lando, I don't know, but the part where someone is saying, like, we need to fight, like, good people will fight, is, again, I think explaining the plot of this movie in the beginning. The beginning plot is of, everyone trying to get more people in the Resistance. In The Last Jedi, as you guys know, literally the Resistance was so small that they could all fit on the Millennium Falcon. That's how small and that's how little they were. They lost all communications with anyone. No one was helping them. And I really think that now, post The Last Jedi and them kind of growing a little bit more, they are starting to get more people on their side. So I think that the whole point of the movie for the Resistance side, now obviously the Jedi side is different. You get the war and then you get the Jedi stuff. Jedi side is definitely Palpatine. The Resistance side's more fighting this war and getting more people. I think that's why they travel to Piscana, is to get more people. So at this point, Lando is basically being like, we need more people and good people will fight. I think that's his motivation, being like, we'll find recruits to join the Resistance to fight this final battle. And then we also get another shot of kind of Poe, Chewie, and Finn next to Poe's X-Wing. So again, I think this is like when they're leaving, going to Piscana to recruit all those people that we saw in the last trailer. All those people there, I think, are the people that are ready to fight. And I think when they get to Piscana, they're going to have a lot of trouble with finding people. And I think this is why Kylo comes. This is why Kylo comes and goes after them, because of this. And I think there's also another thing going on. I think they're also trying to find something. I don't know what. I'm very confused on kind of like where the story is going to lead, how everything kind of fits together. And personally, I don't want to know, because I want it to be a surprise. I rather kind of just analyze each scene and be like, this is probably what's going to happen at this scene and stuff like that, and not fit it together, because I want to be surprised. But I haven't figured out how kind of everything is going to line up. I just know that at this point of the film, they're going to be looking for new recruits. This scene here with Rey kind of being like, no one knows who I am, and then Kylo coming out, or Ben coming out, I should say, says, I do. I know a lot of people are probably going to be like, oh my god, this is horrible, Reylo is happening. But as some of you know, I am a big supporter of Reylo. It is something that I've always just really liked since The Last Jedi, since I found out everything, and I was like, this is Endgame, totally. So I know a lot of you are probably like, oh my god, she's the Reylo bigot. I'm not like that. I really think this is going to happen. I mean, you cannot deny that there is not a connection between Ben and Rey. And at this part, it also relates back to kind of how both of them understand one another. Ben understands Rey, Rey understands Ben. This loneliness that they have, this fears that they have, fear of Ben not being like Darth Vader, fear of Rey not being able to find her parents. Like, they've gone through so much. They know each other very well, which makes the relationship even stronger. And I think at this point that Rey, when she looks at him, is kind of like, oh my god, I haven't seen you in so long. I think this is like her first time seeing him in these 5 years since The Last Jedi. Just the way her facial expression is, like, she's kind of nervous and she's kind of like waiting for him to come. And then the way Kylo kind of moves his lightsaber, I think, is also another Easter egg to show kind of his powers have also changed. That he's kind of also learning, and his look is different too. His whole like vibe is different. He doesn't look confused, is kind of what I'm trying to say. He doesn't look like he's pretending to be someone. He looks like he knows what he's doing. And kind of, it looks like he's about a fighter, but at the same time, it looks like he's, not charging her right away, not really fighting each other. It's kind of like, I just saw you, you're the bad guy, I'm the good guy, let's fight. basically kind of like that. And then we get these TIE fighters going to this ice planet. Now, I think this ice planet is where Palpatine is going to come back. Who knows what it really is? I can tell that it's floating in space just by all the stars in the background, and then you have the TIEs coming to it. And if you look to the bottom left area, you can kind of see a city. So that kind of tells me that maybe this is where the First Order has gone. Since, you know, the First Order was on ships, the Resistance was on ships, like they need their own places to be. So I think this is kind of where the First Order ended up, is on this ice planet. And I think that this ice planet means more than what they're kind of showing it as. I think it's some sort of powerful place, and this powerful place is where Palpatine is, and it helps bring him back. And the scene it moves on to show the throne, and that throne is Palpatine's throne. I haven't gotten into a lot. I think it's like Vader's throne or something in Mustafar, something like that along the lines of Vader and Palpatine. So we all know this is Palpatine, and I think this is where he comes back. I just have a feeling that that throne is used to help Palpatine come back. I don't know how he's gonna come back. It's gonna be really surprising. I do not think he's still alive. I think he actually died, because I'm pretty sure Vader would have felt it. I'm pretty sure they all would have felt it that he still lived, unless he could get under their radar. I mean, Palpatine has done it before, so who knows? But at this scene, you hear Palpatine saying that long have thy waited to come back, being like he's been waiting to come back. He's coming back from the Force and a living being. So this kind of tells us that Palpatine is coming back, and it confirms it, that he's been waiting and that he's here. And this scene, oh my god, the scenes of the Star Destroyers just coming up from whatever this is. I think this is on the ice planet or some planet, even the Death Star planet area. You just see these Star Destroyers come up like zombies, like they're just coming up, popping out like daisies, you know what I mean?
They popped out of the snow like daisies!
Literally just coming up. I think this is Palpatine getting ready. You see that streak of lightning, it could be Palpatine rising these Star Destroyers up into the sky for the final battle. So at this scene of all these ships just all together ready to fight in the final battle, I definitely think this is the final battle. You get different types of ship, like it's not all just Resistance ships, and I think this is because the Resistance at this point had probably got everybody together, had probably got people from different planets, from Piscana, to all join forces and to fight this evil, which is Palpatine and the First Order. And who knows, maybe the First Order could be fighting with him against Palpatine, and Palpatine could be like raising dead people. Who knows? Kind of like how in Thor Ragnarok when Hela raised the dead and they were fighting the dead, kind of something like that. And at this scene, a lot of people have pointed out many ships, like the Ghost Ship, kind of Phoenix Squadron. Like there are definitely a lot of ships here that could probably tell us something. I haven't overanalyzed it, but one thing that I have noticed about this is that there is a new satellite on the Millennium Falcon that wasn't there in the sequel. So I think they kind of fixed that. And then if you look in the cockpit, it looks like it's Lando and Chewie that are sitting in the cockpit, because there's like this yellow and kind of black cape. So I think that's them in the cockpit getting ready to fight. And as you know, in the previous trailer, it showed that them two being in the cockpit and kind of in hyperspace. So this is probably where they were going. And just this scene with Chewie and Han and Rey and Poe just walking in really reminds me of the original films. And the fighting of Rey and Kylo is definitely something that is kind of building tension in the beginning. I really think that in the beginning that Rey and Kylo are just going to be fighting each other in like the first half, and then the second half they're going to be working together. And just that thing blowing up, like just so many scenes in this trailer we don't know. And the scene with all of them going toward the Death Star is definitely the beginning scene. And then there's a part where Finn yells Rey is definitely probably the part where Rey and Kylo are fighting. Definitely at this part where they're all basically saying goodbye to C-3PO is a very kind of sad part. I mean, I really want to talk about this because this is a lot of character development for C-3PO. C-3PO in the beginning was a scared droid, never liked anything, never liked getting involved in the war and stuff. And him being like, I'm going to sacrifice myself for the resistance, I'm going to do this, is such good character development for a C-3PO. He is such an underrated droid, and him being able to sacrifice himself, being able to just fulfill his destiny is amazing. I love that. I definitely think that he's going to sacrifice himself here, especially since in the previous trailer we saw his eyes red and stuff, so that's probably meaning that he's either self-destructing, doing something to help the resistance where they need his program, or Palpatine is possessing him and they're trying to get Palpatine in him. Who knows? And this part just where he says, I'm taking one last look at my friends, is just, so sad, because he's only considered them as like colleagues and stuff, and when he says friends, it's so good. I just love it. And that transition though from the music of just John Williams is just honestly amazing. Just the transition of that very subtle to just this epic music in the second half of the trailer is amazing. And this scene we get of Poe and Finn working together, shooting people, reminds me of The Force Awakens in the beginning when they were such an iconic duo together in the ship, and kind of showing how they're working together. It's just, I don't know, it just makes me feel good. And Chewie behind them. Finally we get some Chewie action. We didn't get his Chewie action at all really in The Last Jedi with his crossbow. It's just really nice to see, and it's so satisfying. And this part with Leia and Rey just hugging again, we get a little bit more time. It's just so sad, just because we know something's happening. This is either she comes back from a battle and something very serious happens, or Leia is leaving. I mean, this could be the part where Ben dies and she goes and tells her. Or this could be the part where she's leaving Leia and she's probably not coming back. Or this could be the part where Leia's leaving. I mean, Leia looks happy and she looks like not crying, so this kind of tells me at this point that Leia's probably leaving. She's going to do something very dangerous. And Rey doesn't like it and is sad that she's going. And just some more parts of the battle on Piscana, and kind of the part where Finn says, woo! It's like so satisfying, since he always says that. Him and Poe have always said that in all the films. It's just, so good. And then Lando and Chewie again being that cockpit and this new ship, like we just get so many cool scenes. And this part where all of them are running, these look like the people that were on Piscana, so it looks like this is the final battle, and they look like they're on the Star Destroyers in the sky, and it looks like that they are just running on the Star Destroyers and running to the fight, running to who knows what. It's definitely a Endgame type of feel where Thanos' army and then the Avengers are all running at one another. It really reminds me of that, and I definitely sure that this is on the Death Star, just not on the Death Star, the Star Destroyers, because you know how they're all in the skies in the last trailer and how they're rising up. I think that's where they're all running on, and I think these are people from Piscana that they recruited. And this scene here, Kylo and Rey just in Palpatine's throne room, in the Death Star's throne room, the part where Luke confronted Palpatine here and Vader killed Palpatine, is a lot. I mean, you can just tell that these two are not gonna be foes, that these two are gonna work together. Just the way that they just are standing to seeing one another, and Raylo, I'm sorry, I just had to say that, but just the way it kind of is portrayed in this looks very peaceful and calming. It's definitely after they're like fighting each other, like 100% after they're fighting each other, and they kind of realize that they have to work together and that there is the bigger enemy, And this part again where Finn says Rey is probably the part where Kylo and Rey are fighting, and like Finn has to leave with Poe and stuff because they got what they needed, while Rey's still fighting with Kylo, and then they leave, and then probably Kylo and Rey kind of go into the Death Star and kind of become friends, or maybe more, who knows. And this scene is probably my favorite scene out of the trailer, just because we get to see Rey and Kylo fight together. We saw them in The Last Jedi. They were really good. They are so strong together. They really, I don't know how to explain it. In the Force, so in The Last Jedi, when they were fighting together, they were like unstoppable. They were so good, because I think that the Force is just strong. Like, the light side is so strong in Rey, the dark side is somewhat strong in Kylo, and the light side, that together they are just so strong. And at this part, they just kill this guy, like, completely. And if you look in Rey's hand, there is a dagger. A dagger might be what they might have came for in the Death Star. Who knows? It could be something to kill Palpatine with. We don't know. And we also see Ben have his helmet on. And again, his helmet is a lot of symbolism to his character growth. Him pretending to be Vader and then him destroying it to try to let go of the path, but then rebuilding it together to make it his own is so much character development. And just this part of them just completely annihilating this guy. Some people were saying it's Vader. I don't know. I might think it's like one of the Knights of Ren that kind of were upset that Kylo was fighting together with Rey. Who knows? But this scene is just my favorite scene out of this trailer. It just means so much and kind of is showing a lot of what they can do together. They literally disintegrated this guy. And again, this scene, I said, like, they're on the Star Destroyers on the opposite side. It's gonna be a hell of a war. And here, Ben looking at something. Just look at his face. His face is just so tired looking. It's like all bruised up and kind of like he's been fighting for a while. I definitely think this is the part of him confronting Palpatine with Rey. I definitely think this is that scene, and he's just the way he's looking. And it's not like he's looking mad. He doesn't also look mad. He looks kind of calm, you know, kind of content and not like, I hate you kind of in a way. So maybe he's looking at Rey, we don't know. And this part is a lot to look at. So, you know, if we analyze it, you see in the left on Rey, kind of where her hand is her dagger. So like I said, maybe that dagger is supposed to kill Palpatine, and just like her face looks like she's mad. She like doesn't like Palpatine, kind of the same way with Snoke. Then you have Palpatine sitting kind of right there. We all know that's Palpatine. I mean, who else can it be? If it's Snoke, I'm gonna be mad. But also the thing I want to point out is the comparison between Palpatine. Look how big Palpatine is compared to Rey. The camera angle shows that Palpatine looks really tall in Rey. She just is so small down there. So that's kind of comparison to that. And it looks like that Palpatine at that scene is also moving toward Rey. So I don't know if he's just stuck to his throne or if he can actually fight. It would be cool to see Palpatine fight Rey and Kylo. Like, that would be really epic. And just that scene, the Force will be with you always. Luke and Leia and Rey's face. I want to first talk about Rey's face. So she looks distraught. She looks like something big happened, something painful happened. I think at this point, either someone died, like Ben or Finn. I think if Finn dies, it's such an impact since he is like her brother in a way. And if Ben dies, it's just, you know, they've had so much history. They've grown a relationship that is undeniably strong. And if he dies, it's just something that really is sad and puts emotional distraught on her. And then I think that it's either that or Rey could be getting ready to sacrifice herself, who knows? And she could be getting ready to sacrifice herself to save everyone, and that's why she's crying and kind of being like, I'm a nobody, but I can fulfill my destiny in a way. And just that part with Luke and Leia saying that basically kind of also tells me that, who knows, maybe we could get like what we get in Endgame with a portal scene, except with Jedis all coming from the Force helping them. You know, may the Force be with you always, kind of the Jedis helping Rey in a way, giving her the Force and stuff, and Ben to fight Palpatine. So I don't know what that means, but yeah. I just think that she definitely looks sad and something had happened and that she's ready to basically, you know, kill Palpatine. Or maybe she saw Luke. I'm also thinking she saw Luke and she really was connected to Luke and Leia. She saw either one of them and that kind of made her started crying. Who knows? Definitely something big happens at the scene, just the way her face is and stuff. And kind of connecting to Dark Rey, like Dark Rey could probably be Palpatine possessing Rey, like I said, and kind of making her evil and stuff like that, turning her against it all. And I like how they didn't put anything to elaborate on that. I like how we kind of are stuck with not knowing more about Dark Rey, so who knows? But anyways, I think the trailer really got me hyped up, especially. I know a lot of people are really hyped about this movie now. It looks so good, honestly, guys. I think it's gonna be a really good movie. But anyways, Thanks for watching, guys. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel and comment down below any of your guys' theories. I would love to hear all your guys' theories. And don't forget to have a magical day. And may the force be with you.